Are you concerned about heat pressing on water-resistant fabric? On this episode of Decoration Myths, we're going to show you how you can safely apply your client's artwork to water-resistant bags, blankets, and outerwear. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Decoration Myths. I'm Stephen Barrett, S&S Activewear.
And I'm Josh Ellsworth with STAHLS.
So, Josh, we've got some challenges. A lot of people have been reaching out saying, hey, you guys practically transfer everything. Let's take a look at water-resistant and waterproof items in the S&S Activewear line. So water-resistant, I mean, we're really looking at items that are beating water, that can kind of hold up, but once you get in that deep downpour, you're going to get that soak through. Waterproof, we're really concentrated on some of the products we carry that are actually seam sealed. But in all reality, seam sealed is great, but man, you get submerged in any waterproof item, water's going to get in there.
Sure.
But again, going back to transferring and decorating these items, let's look at,
how
what
to
we can
approach
do.
it. Yeah. So this is a subject that we don't see a lot of content out there on. And I think that's because companies in general aren't going to give a 100% guarantee that you can decorate these items with any given product. However, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't talk about these items, how to give ourselves the best chance of success, and what we need to consider when we're decorating either a water resistant or a waterproof item. The reality is, I think a lot of it comes down to the expectation of the customer. And we need to start there as a decorator, because we're seeing these waterproof and water-resistant items show up across different constructions. So a ton in outerwear and jackets, and we're going to do a few of those today, but also in bags. And today we're actually going to decorate a blanket as well that has it incorporated. And those are all different expectations of durability. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I know one of our first ones that we're going to start with, because I think it's most popular in outerwear and jackets, is this item.
Yeah, this is the half zip windbreaker anorak from Champion. It's packable. It has a nice little packable entry here that you can pack it up. But the beauty of this one is it's so popular. It has the right price point, and it's Champion. Everybody wants to see, right? And we have currently 18 different colors in this one. So this one will be exciting to see.
Yeah, lots of options. So if we can conquer this one as a decorator, there's lots of opportunities that way you're saying.
Yes.
All right, well, let's get it onto the heat press and give you the right techniques to approach this. So when we talk about decorating outerwear in general, typically, as you mentioned, we have a lot of pockets, we have a lot of seams, we have a lot of zippers. So there's a couple different ways to approach this. Number one is I can load a smaller platen attachment to just isolate the print area if I want to do a left chest decoration. But number two, which is what I've done here, is I've just utilized a heat press pillow. Perfect. And that heat press pillow is an excellent tool. I use it a lot when I'm decorating, because that allows everything to kind of sink down in for the application. Now, I do want to say you want to be careful that there's no coating on the inside of any pockets, because if that's up on the heat pressing surface and you're pressing, we don't want those to permanently seal together so the pocket becomes unusable. But this one's a kind of a mesh lining, so I'm not too concerned with that there, but I'm checking it out. We will load this on, and then I'm going to start by trying to get the zipper off of the front edge so I don't have any major obstructions. Okay, so let's cover this with the cover sheet. Make sure we have adequate pressure before we start talking about different heat transfer choices.
I like it.
All right, so we are preheating that. Also making sure we have a nice, good pressure. And accurate pressure really is dictated by the transfer that you're using. It will recommend for the adhesive, time, temperature, and pressure.
Great.
Now, one of the products that we have that's recommended for nylons, because we see water-resistant, waterproof a lot, not only in poly, but in nylon, is this product called Gorilla Grip 2. And so I don't know, is this a nylon or a poly blank?
Yeah, that's a nylon, yeah.
Okay, and so this is going to be the perfect choice because it has a more industrial grade adhesive.
Wow. That's
going to be great for these tough to do items. So you wouldn't want to use this Gorilla Grip 2 heat transfer vinyl on a cotton t-shirt. You're going to overspend and it's overkill. But when you're decorating something like this, it's going to be the perfect choice. And this product just takes 2 seconds to initially get it to apply. And so we're going to press it for 2 seconds.
Wow.
the carrier just removed away from it, which is great. So I got really good initial adhesion. You know what would have helped there is a cover sheet. Because if this is normally this is a cold peel product, it really liked this fabric. So it applied that quick and peeled off
that was like that.
Yeah, so normally I would say, we learn here, put the cover sheet on, that way it's not gonna do that, and then peel it accordingly. But this is on temporarily, and what we really wanna do now is hit the second application on it. So Gorilla Grip 2 is a 2-step application, so I just cover it with a cover sheet, and then I'm gonna go ahead and heat apply it for the second step. And so it's quick, it's easy. Some things you want to be careful of when you're decorating these smooth surfaces is sometimes you'll get a little bit of the adhesive squeezing out, so you don't want to over apply the pressure to these products. You just want accurate pressure. Otherwise, you'll start to see a thin hairline of clear or adhesive in the decoration. And so we have good bond here. And so let's pull that out. Let's take a look at our finished results.
That's clean.
Yeah, clean. Something that you could see not only in the collegiate bookstore market, but something that we can see in streetwear and e-commerce. So a lot of opportunities even for fashion brands to decorate.
And none of the camos coming through. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I'm not too concerned about any strike through with this product. My main concern is it going to adhere? Is it going to stick? And is it going to stay? So in this case, we have our answer that this adheres very well. And the reason I've chosen the Gorilla Grip 2 is because I know with that adhesive, it's the most likely to stay.
Nice.
Actually, I had a client many years ago that I want to tell you about that wanted to decorate umbrellas. So there's nothing more waterproof than an umbrella.
Absolutely.
And I ended up cutting that umbrella into a bunch of little pieces, pressed a lot of Gorilla Grip onto it at different settings, and ran it through a wash-dry cycle. That's the type of testing you need to think about for your fabrics to make sure it's going to work.
That's a key point,
Highly likely to have good success on not only this product, but other water-resistant, waterproof items.
Looking good.
So we don't find many products that will work on waterproof or water-resistant items. And so we're going to use what we've learned in that Gorilla Grip 2 works well. And we're going to use Gorilla Grip 2 as a base adhesive. And so in this case, I have it as an outline. And I'm going to bring a silicone on top because I want to explore different finishes. But silicone, glitter, these different special effect finishes usually don't have a nylon adhesive. And so I'm going to leverage the outline of Gorilla Grip 2 as a base down to the fabric and then bring the special effect product on top of it to get the look and finish I want. And so before we get there, though, let's talk about this piece.
So this is Adidas's Ace 267, and so, or 268, sorry. The 267 is the men's version. But this is a great wind and water resistant jacket. Has some nice women's details with the pleat in the back. But this is always, people get this and they kind of see this material, the 3-stripe material on the left sleeve, and they're like, how do I match that up and get a good look on this material?
Okay.
So
yeah, and this has, some stretch to it. Nice product. So let's try to load it in the same form and fashion we just did. Make sure it's going to split and load onto my platen. Now, I do want to point out that when you're using a heat press pillow, it's very important to note that a heat press pillow is only recommended to use with light or medium pressure applications. If you have a transfer that calls for firm pressure, you can't achieve that on this low density surface of a pillow, which means I'll have to switch to a platen.
Okay.
But in this case, we are using, low to medium pressure applications with our Gorilla Grip 2 product today. So no issues there.
So you're going to lay the base down with Gorilla Grip and then come over it with what type of transfer?
Yeah, this is a silicone heat transfer. So you want that rubbery texture and that feel. And you know why? Because we're kind of matching that Adidas logo that's down in the corner.
Absolutely.
So we get the best of both worlds. And that Adidas logo is kind of like peeking up on my pressing surface. And so even when I'm doing the preheat, it'll be important that I use a cover sheet because I don't want to melt that Adidas logo
for sure
to the top of the press. So we use a cover sheet. Let's make sure we get a good pressure on this one as well. Do that preheat. And then we are going to grab our...
Best iron in the world.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Yeah. So we're going to grab that Gorilla Grip logo, position it down. I'm going to pinch top shoulder, make sure I have center alignment here. You can use thermotape if you're worried. Like sometimes these special heat transfer vinyls, the special adhesives will want to curl up. You can use thermotape if you want, or if you're confident in the ability to lay the cover sheet without moving the logo, that's fine as well. And let's heat press that down for the 2 seconds.
Now we have the placement.
Yep. And as I mentioned, technically Gorilla Grip is a cold peel. It does react different to different fabrics, so I can take a little peek. Yep, it's definitely a cold peel on this fabric.
Okay.
The last fabric, we had the advantage of the hot peel.
Carrier came right off.
And so if I were running production on this, what I would do is I would press all of these logos. I would probably just remove them and let them cool down after I run the whole job, and then come back and reload them and place the graphic. But another option is if you have, a cold surface, whether that's, a cookie sheet, an extra
We've done the wall before.
The wall, something like that. I've seen people take an old T-shirt or a dry erase board eraser or just an eraser and rub it against the surface to pull the heat out a little quicker. Just a little way to speed up production. Actually, one of the best things I've seen is for those shops that are really high volume, running an air press, they'll run an extra air line beside their machine and they'll just shoot it with the compressed air and cool it immediately while it's on the press, which is cool. So I'm not, wow, this one's a difficult one, right? So I'm not getting the bond I want. And so we have a coating here that's causing issues. So what do we do now? I'm going to go ahead and re-hit it, and I'm thinking that it just didn't have enough time to activate the adhesive.
2 seconds.
Yep, especially through the cover sheet. And so this is all part of the testing. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust my time, and let's go ahead and give it something more like 6 seconds to 10 seconds for that base layer.
Okay.
Increase the pressure just slightly. I shouldn't see any adhesive squeeze coming out around the edge of the design on this surface. Make sure I have that Adidas logo covered up. Let's try 6 seconds. And I'm going to follow my rules and pull it completely off the press and let it cool down on this one. So let's go ahead and try not to move the logo. I'm just going to pull it off, pillow and all.
I love these fixes.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we're going to let this cool down. And then as soon as it cools down, we'll throw it back on the press and peel it.
Perfect.
For everybody. All right, we should be completely cooled down now. And so let's see if we got better adhesion with the additional time in the true cold peel. Perfect. So big difference. That's why we don't panic whenever whenever it starts to lift a little bit. That doesn't.
I was holding my breath.
You weren't? You were worried we weren't going to save it?
No. I never panic with you at the helm here. So
yeah, and see, you don't even have to thread the garment when you have the pillow. You can just have the pillow in there, lay it on top. And now let's grab that foreground layer, and again we're going to do the silicone to be able to add to the effect here. Just going to position that down, cover the whole thing, and then remember what my time is at here because I just changed it. And so for the final application, we're going to want to be at the silicone time setting, which I believe is 12 to 15 seconds. So we'll run it at the 12 seconds. See, I moved my cover sheet, not thinking, let's make sure I didn't slide my logo. I did not.
Gotcha.
And we'll lock it down. Okay, silicone is also a cold peel. And so as soon as this is completed, I'm actually gonna grab the handle so it doesn't start to lift it. We'll remove it just like we did for the Gorilla Grip 2 base layer.
Perfect. Give it
Let
a
it
little
cool
bit.
completely down.
Yeah. And
then we will be ready to release the backing for my final result. So if you're running production, again, it's probably good to have different pillows, kind of pre-stage your item, and that way you can bring them in and out.
I mean, just looking at the product, I mean, it's a perfect match, right?
Yeah.
And so excited to see it.
All right, awesome. Let's keep moving.
Sure.
And while this cools down, there's no reason to waste time.
We'll come back to it.
I thought this was a really interesting product. So let's talk about
this.
this.
Yeah, so this is a great, so this is a packable picnic blanket. So it has that water resistance on the lower layer, and on the other side it has a nice plaid covering. So it's a classic picnic blanket. So the water resistance sits on the ground, kind of protects the soft part of it on the top.
Excellent. So I love how it's packable. So when I looked at this, I'm like, logo location is probably right here or right here.
Yep.
So we're going to be able to see that, potentially opportunity to logo it in both places. And to me, I thought instantly of going out to the ball field in team opportunities to watch the game. And so let's go ahead and open this up so we can see the inside.
Perfect.
Yeah, pretty nice soft plaid finish here. And
Very
so,
nice. A little Sherpa lining.
yeah, difficult to handle, right? And this is definitely the side we want to decorate.
So they have made it convenient on both sides if you wanted to do a double logo, so you can pack that. But since we're dealing with transfers, I could be getting ahead of myself, but we're going to put pillows in here?
Yeah. So we're going to do a little combination effect here. So depending on the heat press you have, would you mind holding this?
Yeah, no
I'm going
problem.
to swap out the attachment. I know I'm going to want to do that for this particular product, and I know I'm going to need a smaller attachment. So before I load that, I want you to notice this auto clam, great machine, but one of the trade-offs between this and our Fusion is that it's a little bit wider at the base, right?
Okay.
So you can't fit, as fine of as small of pockets as easily.
Okay.
And so just to demonstrate that, if I try to split this pocket open, I can kind of get it up here, but
Sure.
I can't really clear this base without tearing the pocket or taking a lot of time. And so there's an easy way to fix that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pad and I'm actually going to just drape my placement on top of the press. Grab that pad.
You need me to hold anything?
That should be good.
Yeah.
Thank you, though. And now we are going to insert the pad directly into the pocket.
Nice.
Okay, so we use the platen to get rid of the excess bulk. We're inserting the pad into the pocket. Toughest thing I've done all day, apparently.
Yeah.
Let me try to insert it
Well, you
off
got
the
a lot,
press.
like
This
you
is fun.
said, have the workable table up underneath.
Yeah, so I'm just insert the pad, and now I will take your assistance with kind of just laying it on there so I can get it flat. There we go. Right, and so I'm using, it's really tough to guide this, like placement, and so I'm using the strap here as a guide to make sure I'm going to get my logo straight and centered. So I'm just straightening my pad location into there. I've changed a lot about our heat press surface, and so let's go ahead and check to see what pressure we have with that platen and that pad. Good, so pretty nice light pressure. We want a light pressure when we're dealing with small print areas because the applied pressure is a lot more than you think on these smaller surfaces. So again, we're going to do the Gorilla Grip. If you just want to drop that slightly lower.
Sorry.
That's all right. So we're going to put Gorilla Grip down. You notice I love this product for nylon.
Yeah.
Again, I'm using a background. On this particular one, you see how it's kind of curling there. And so I will use the thermotape just to make sure that it's not going to move on me. Now I feel comfortable laying a cover sheet on top of it and locking it down for that couple seconds. And again, Gorilla Grip is a cold peel, so I'm going to let it cool completely down, and then we'll load it back on and do the foreground on it, which is a cool product I want to talk to you about. Let's get it back up onto the printing surface. Peel the backing. Again, cold peel. Now I have my nice background. And this product is really neat. So I was thinking outdoor and picnicking, and you'd be carrying this probably in the sunlight most of the time. This is a UV shift heat transfer vinyl.
UV shift. That sounds interesting.
And I don't even know what color it is. I think it's yellow, but we carry it in 4 colors at the time of this video.
Okay.
They all start white, but when you take them into the sunlight, they change colors, which is really cool. So
very nice.
I know there's some Air Force One sneakers that do that.
Yeah.
So it's trendy out there. So pretty cool effect. So again, we're just going to layer this. Now I want to make sure I'm getting the application time for both products. And so in this case, it would be 12 seconds to make sure I'm getting the dwell time for the top and the bottom layer. All right. So easy, a little bit different, a little bit more time, right? For what we're doing, but ultimately a pretty easy application. The UV shift is a hot peel.
Oh, wow.
So I can remove the backing right away. And I have a nice clean logo on here.
Very crisp.
Yeah.
That jumps out at you.
Yeah.
So now if you go in the sunlight, this is just going to give you a mirror of different colors?
Yeah. So take it into the sun. You see the color change. That is a pretty cool effect. When we're talking about this, kind of that wow or that extra moment. There's glow-in-the-dark heat transfer. So there's a lot of cool little specialty products. But again, we're using our base layer that we know is going to do the best possible on these waterproof and water repellent coatings, and we're bringing the effect on top. Takes a little bit more time, but in my opinion, the result and the diversity of what you can do is absolutely worth it.
All right, so let's move into the backpack. So this is a brand new backpack from Oakley. It's the 23-liter nylon backpack. I said nylon.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so, right? So it has a nice Oakley on the front. This is a versatile backpack. It's for the minimalist, right? You've got your iPad or your small laptop, your charging cord, your phone, and then a couple snacks, and off you go. So, like I said, it's brand new, so this is a new one for us.
Yeah, so let's explore some different things. One of my favorite products to use on backpacks is reflective material. And that's because
Great
usually when people are wearing a backpack, often they're in early morning or later night conditions. And so it adds this element of visibility and interest. And reflective is usually silver. And so it is a nice complement. So we're going to use the 3M Scotchlite reflective on this, which does have a nylon adhesive as well. And so I have a high confidence level that it's going to be a nice adhesion to this backpack, and we should have a great result. So let's talk about how to load this first, because I have my platen loaded from my last item. I have my pad. I'm going to use both of those tools here because, again, if I just try to split and thread this on, I'm still going to have the Oakley logo and some zipper structure.
Sure.
That's going to be challenging. And so what I'm going to do, I'll do a combo effect here. I'll unzip the main compartment. I will split and load that onto the press to kind of get down to a little more controllable area. And then I'll just flip this out and insert the print pad. A little bit easier to handle than the blanket, right? So present that in, and then I should be fine here because we were just pressing with this combination on the last set, so I'm not really worried about adjusting my pressure. However, I am going to do just a little preheat.
Iron
I will,
out.
yeah, and I will adjust it a little bit because I think the thickness, actually, after I said that, the thickness of the backpack is thinner than the blanket, so I did need to make a slight adjustment there. And then we are going to do something unique here to give you a new idea, and that is a monogram.
Very nice.
So position that into place. Cover
That's
it.
Good.
And the
I
three.
can see the reflective from here already.
Oh, it reflects light back to the source. This product, not that this is for safety or function per se, but it's ANSI certified, so you can use it for roadside work crews. Lots of opportunities with the 3M Scotchlite reflective. It's technically a hot peel, but I want to see how it responds to this fabric, so I'll do kind of my
take it slow.
My peak. Oh, that's nice.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
So beautiful release. So not only is it going to be functional and look nice, it's going to be fast, right? And so we can print these really quickly.
And this is what Oakley calls a blackout. So you want a little bit of visibility when you're out there, in the public. And wow, that's super clean.
Yeah, so this is 3M Scotchlite reflective. We also have a product called High Vis reflective that comes in about a half a dozen colors. And so if you wanted something that's a little more charcoal and black to match the backpack, you could pick that.
Gives that kind of prism-like look to it.
Yeah, lots of choice. Actually, this is one of my favorites so far because it was very easy to apply. And I want to point out, we mentioned it up front, but expectation, right? A jacket may be laundered. What are the odds that somebody's going to launder the backpack? So we can have a high level of confidence that we can just press as long as it stays, it meets the abrasion test. You're going to have good results.
I like it.
All right, let's keep on the reflective train here. And I think this is one of our most difficult items.
This is definitely one that's most asked about. This is the Watertight 2 jacket from Columbia. And this one's listed as waterproof. So, it has the seam sealed throughout. I've worn this jacket personally in rainy areas. And it works like a charm. But you submerge this, of course, right?
Yeah.
You're going to get water in and out. But most people ask, like, what affects this? How do I decorate it? And then heat transfer, because they've done actually a transfer on the jacket itself.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you match that up, right?
Yeah, and so we have kind of a light gray or a cool gray color on the Columbia logo on this particular colorway. So let's start by loading it. And then I do think reflective is a great choice to match that up, but you could certainly do the gray color and Gorilla Grip as well. So lots of choices. For this one, I don't think I'll need the pad, but we will see. I'm going to do a right chest decoration location because we have the left chest that already has the Columbia logo. I want to take a peek inside because there's definitely
Some mesh, breathability
some mesh
lining. Yeah.
Yep, some things happening here. So let's load that on. I don't think that there's anything that's going to impact my pressure too much. However, I am a little bit concerned sometimes when you're pressing like items like this, you'll see the mesh lining kind of impact the face of the material and the print. And so I just feel like maybe the pillow solution is going to be a better option for me. So let me swap back. And why I say that is because those little linings and things tend to sink down into the pillow versus kind of meeting the firm surface of the platen and causing an issue.
Better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, it's a high-end jacket, right? You wouldn't really want to ruin too many of these. So let me grab my pillow here. Toss that back on. Let's try to split and thread this on now. All right, I feel pretty good about that. Using my cover sheet, again, because the Columbia logo is going to be exposed and some heat transfers will stick to even a Teflon coated heater. Notice I changed the platen, added a pillow, so we got to adjust the pressure a bit. I'm reducing the pressure. I had too much on there. Good, I'm able to lock it down. Now we're going to do just a pretty basic decoration to show you the concept and staff. Position that to kind of match the Columbia logo across to make sure we're straight on there.
Nice. And this is the reflective as well.
Yeah, this is the 3M reflective as well. So why don't you lock it down? I pressed a lot in this episode.
I like it.
So you feel it click. So you feel a little more pressure on the pillow to get it locked down. And the machine will automatically open. Now, I have a high level of confidence because the last one was a hot peel. It was a great experience. But that doesn't mean this one will be a hot peel because every waterproof, water repellent coating is slightly different. So I still want to approach the first one with a little caution. And we do have success here on the hot peel.
Love it.
And we have a really nice completed result. Let's take a look at that with everybody.
That is key. Wow, perfect matched up. You know, left chest, right chest. Well done.
Yeah, not bad.
Well done.
So that was our grand finale. So I think it bears mentioning again that when you're approaching these items, you want to make sure to test. Not every application is going to work 100% perfectly for you. As you noticed in today's episode, we struggled on some of the items, but that's why it's important to get them onto the press, get the transfer, and test those to make sure you're going to have success. And
get those accessories, right? This was key, having the pillow pad. And I mean, it's just awesome.
I almost forgot. Before we end this episode, let's go ahead and throw that jacket back up onto the press and peel to reveal that silicone finish.
Perfect.
Grab the corner and you want to release it at the edge and complete the result. Now, I do want to show here because we had to press that a couple more times than I would like, and actually I'm off registration just ever so slightly there, is that, we're getting a little bit of marking on the jacket, and that's because I had the whole pillow up there, and when it pressed, this zipper that's in this enclosure was kind of receiving more pressure time and time again. So love to point those things out because if you want to prevent those, I could use the smaller platen or I could have used a smaller pillow. And so when you load that, right, I'll just kind of load it and then I pull the pillow up through. And so now all of this excess area is dropping off, right? And I still get the advantage of the full alignment and placement. But the end result, is nice because you have this silicone look, feel, and that rubbery texture.
Raised. Yeah, so it's the Gorilla Grip.
On the base, yes.
Yep, and then silicone on top. And I mean, that's beautiful. And then that's a premium print on this. So success.
Success again. So water repellent, waterproof items, test. But these are some of the products that are most likely to work for decoration in your business. Yeah,
and we had a great variety of products. Those will all be listed in the links below. And Josh, you've done it again. I mean, challenge, we had some success. So awesome. We'll see you next time on Decoration Mess. Thank you.